guys, today I'm here to do a book review, and that is for One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I can never say her name, I'm just like click, 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 click. I'm really excited to talk about this book. It was a really interesting thriller. I love the whole Breakfast Club / Pretty Little Liar vibes, and it was just a really interesting story and just such a great developing story for like the characters that are involved, and I just really enjoyed it. And there's also going to be spoilers because I just really want to talk about the things that happen, and yeah, it's really hard not to say anything about this book without spoiling it. So I'm going to get into it and start talking about this book. So to talk just a little bit about what this book is about, it is about 5 teenagers who go into detention. They're all being placed in there for some reason. They all got dubbed for the same thing of having their phones out in class, and they all got sent to detention. And then by the end of detention, one of them is dead, and it's very crazy, and then all eyes point towards these people. But they all have secrets that they don't want revealed, that the person who died was going to reveal about them, and there's a lot of people pointing fingers at each of them. They all get a chance at it, and it's all pretty sad and crazy, and yeah, it's a very interesting book because you really don't know what's going to happen, and I had so many theories going on in my head, but I really did enjoy the whole like level of like, oh my god, what the hell is going to happen here? And that was done really well. For me though, I felt like the end wasn't as great as it could have been, but overall I really enjoyed it. But we'll just talk about the characters quickly now so I can just like go into their secrets and everything about them. That's amazing. So the first character we've got is Bronwyn. She is the brainiac. She does all the right things. She never does anything wrong, and she's very extra with everything that she does. And her secret is that she cheated on her calculus exams to get a better score so that she can get into university. So it's like the whole idea of the brainiac doing the bad thing by cheating, and I really thought it was interesting the way that she like justified it in her mind, because we get all the point of views of all the characters. You get like a couple of pages with each of them, and it swaps between the 4 of the main ones who are in the room, and the one that died doesn't really have a chapter like at all because they died. It was interesting having that justification process in her head, saying like it was already like she went onto a computer and it was open and she found the information and she kept doing it, but it's wrong. It's definitely wrong. But I love that she developed into a really different person. Like she wasn't the goody two shoes anymore. Like she did end up dating the bad boy at the end of this book, and just the way that she like kind of let go of this whole idea that she was perfect and had to do the perfect thing. And like her sister has her whole life has had cancer, and she's had that protectiveness over her sister that she gets a lot, and her sister helps with the process of just trying to find out what happened in this book. But it's really interesting having that too, that she was really worried she wouldn't get into universities, and she finally let go of that. And by the end of the book, after everything has been cleared up and everything, finds out who is who. She got offered a position at Yale, which is really nice, so she can apply there. So she like learned to let go of the restraint that she has over everything and not be such a control freak. But I really did like Bronwyn, and she was really smart and did a good job. Next character is Nate, who is the bad boy of the group. Everyone just assumes that it's him for quite a lot of the book, and at one point they actually arrest him because he got some stuff dumped into his locker. But I did like Nate, and his whole relationship with his father and his mother was very interesting. His father's just a drunk, and he just lies at home all day, and he doesn't have a job, and he hurt himself once like years ago and just pretends that the injury is still there. So Nate has to look after his life and his lizard and his family, and his mum left when he was younger, and she would come back and then she stopped after a while. So with this murder investigation, she has come back, and he's developing this relationship with his mother that was quite interesting to read about. So I really enjoyed that. And also his relationship with Bronwyn, how they had the whole crushes when you're like in year 5, and it was interesting, and they were a lot of fun like having that relationship with them when they're younger, and as they get older they started to really lean on each other in this investigation. And I've liked the relationship that grew there, even though it was like bad at some points when they were kind of like, what is the point to our relationship other than the investigation? But they did work well together, and Bronwyn never thought that Nate did it, and having someone dump stuff in his locker and make it seem like it's him, so it was like different too, because he was a drug dealer. It's Nate's secret, which I haven't put out yet, is he's a drug dealer, and he was dealing drugs, and he's been to juvie, and he has a social worker, and he stopped doing it for Bronwyn. And it was like his development too of learning to like become friends with people and to have that relationship with his mum was really great as well in this book. Next we've got Addie, who is like the beauty queen, but kind of like the beauty queen who was always the second runner-up. So she's not the perfect person, but she's really up there in the social thing, and she has a boyfriend that she is obsessed with and does everything he says. He is a jerk. Jake, her boyfriend, was an asshole, and I hated him. Seriously, it's like she was wearing some like a certain outfit, and he's like, can you please go change, because like I like you in form-fitting clothes. And I'm just like, ugh, no, leave him alone. And he always tells her what to do, where to go, and what to wear, and she always looks to him to be like, Jake, what are we doing? And I'm like, Addie, fix your shit up. Like her sister saw it and she didn't say anything, but her sister had like a failed marriage with he cheated on her and everything. Addie wouldn't take that in consideration because she'd have to ask Jake first, you know. But her secret was that she cheated on Jake with TJ, who was a different character who was Jake's best friend, and I was like, It's not very good, but it was interesting for her because like TJ actually listened to what she said and laughed about her jokes, and they got drunk, and it just happened. Like, I mean, it's understandable when your boyfriend is such a control freak. Like, it's not a good thing to do, but you can understand why it happened. And like Jake was so mad about it, so bitchy about it, and like it was so interesting for like Addie because all her friends turned away from her, and she actually started hanging out with Bronwyn, and she cut her hair short, and I was just like, no. The worst trope in my life happened in this book, but it's okay. I look past it, but I just hate hair cutting when they cut it short. And it was crazy. She was at the hairdressers and she's like, cut it all off. And the hairdressers are like, what? Your hair's so pretty. And she's like, cut it all off. And they just wouldn't. So she was like, and cut a bit off and was just like, see, fix it. It's your fault. So I was like, okay. Besides the haircutting thing, she really found out who her true friends were. She got a better relationship with her sister, and her mum was like not really that great, and she was always talking about how she has to be like married and dating by 17, and it's kind of wrong. So I like the fact too that her sister ended up like buying an apartment, and Addie's gonna live with her sister. So Addie's got this really new like look on life, and she's got new friends and people that she actually cares about, and I really enjoyed that she developed in such a beautiful way. Now Cooper's story, I love it so much. Like, he's the star athlete, he's meant to be doing all the right things, and his secret at first is revealed that he's on steroids. But the thing is, he has never been on steroids. Like, when he was like doing his baseball and that, his dad thought it was a good idea to hold back on how good he is, and as the years go by, to gradually get back up to speed where he normally should be. So he kind of like did a wrong thing, but he got like, everyone was kind of like, oh, Cooper's on steroids thing. But the big secret with him, because I knew that Cooper was cheating on his girlfriend, who is like a really nice person, but he was cheating on his girlfriend. But the thing is I assumed, and I got this right, but I thought he's cheating with a guy, so he's got a girlfriend to kind of cover up that he is gay. And I was like, yes, Chris is a guy, it's happening. And I love their relationship, and I mean, it's wrong that he would do that though, to have a girl that actually cares about him, and he cares about her, but he's gay, so we can't really, it's just, it was an interesting like having that diversity in the book though. Like, I really enjoyed it, but he just shouldn't have been with his girlfriend, because he would drive to go see Chris and do things with Chris. So it was interesting but sad, and I'm glad that he did break up with his girlfriend before things get too serious. Like, he never slept with her and he never did anything besides kiss her, but it's like that emotionalness that's really like, it's hard because you're in Cooper's point of view and you kind of feel really bad for him even though he's doing a really wrong thing. But I do think it was sad in the book though that he got outed for being gay, and everyone was just turned against him and thought it was wrong because he's a baseball player and pitcher, and it was just like so wrong for gay people to be in sports. And I'm just like, really I love that Nate stood up for him, and like Addie was the first person he told, and he finally was able to walk around with Chris and have a relationship with him and get past it. But it was sad that he was closeted for so much of his life. Like, he just didn't think anyone would care, and like his father hates him now. Like, he told his dad and his dad thought he was joking, and his dad couldn't even look at him for months. And I'm just like, wrong parenting. You accept your children for whoever they're gonna be, and it's just like, ugh. I hate it that his dad was like that, but I do love that he was able to be open about it and to be able to really embrace it. Even though it got pushed on him, he was able to embrace it a lot more, and I was just like, yes. I really liked Cooper. He was a good character in this book. And Simon, I can't help but not like him because he posts so many bad things about people, and he did so many like really wrong things and hurt a lot of people around him, and it kind of like, a lot of people were thinking like kind of good riddance that Simon died. Like, it's not good that he died, but he was like really depressed and just wanted to be popular, and it's like, it's understandable what he did and everything in his life, but it was just like, oh my god, Simon, dude, you were just like too much. Now that we've talked about all the characters, I have to say, for the ending, I sort of guessed that it was going to be Simon killing himself. Like, it's really sad, but he's saying like it's a bit stupid that people would go into a school and just shoot every one of themselves. Like, they couldn't be more inventive, and I'm just like, dude, it's wrong no matter what. But having it that he killed himself and orchestrated this whole drinking this stuff that had peanut stuff in it, and they couldn't get an epilepsy pen for him and couldn't save him, and he died. He killed himself and then had all these 4 people put in the one room so that like their lives will spiral out of control from his death. So he wanted to kill himself but bring down people with him. Like, I was hoping it'd be something like really crazy that we never would have guessed, like some friend or some girlfriend like came in and killed him, but it wasn't. It was just like, okay, someone killed himself, so what's really is the thriller here? Like, it was shocking that Jake was a part of it, and he was posting Tumblr posts, and he knew about Addie, and he's acting all like, oh, Addie, hello, and then he like yells at her so much when he knew. Like, Addie was so devastated by that too, like with the breakup and everything. Like, she was devastated, but like for Jake to do that and to be a part of everything, like he got arrested for his part in everything, and I was just like, oh my god. But yeah, I just feel like it was a bit of like, it could have, like, the ending was getting so hyped up, and it was just like, ugh, really it's just him killing himself, which is really shitty for him to do. But from the beginning I never thought it was going to be one of the 4 main ones, because we're in their point of views, we're in their heads. It's very hard to lie to the person that is reading the book through a first person point of view, because it's like they're having all their thoughts coming out, so they can't just be like, oh, I killed him but I'm just not going to mention it. It's just dumb. It's dumb. So it doesn't work ever. If you're in the point of view, it's other characters that hide secrets. The main person can't hide their secret. So I never thought it was one of the 4 main characters. So when like Nate was locked up, I'm like, it's not Nate. Obviously something's happened here. So when it was found out that it was Simon, I was just like, really? Like, it would have been more interesting if it was like the teacher that killed him, or like some other doctor or person. Like, it was just, I felt like it was a really bit of a letdown, this ending. But overall, I really loved all the different character stories and the way that this one event changed their lives and made them sort of better people, and to see like who are their real friends, and the fact that they all started to hang out and have really solid bonds and became friends from this. Like, it's such a sad thing to happen, but to have come out of it so strongly and still have so many opportunities in their life was really, really good to read, and I enjoyed that part of this book. And like the fact that it's called One of Us is Lying and the person that's lying isn't even on the front cover, it's like, what? But overall, I did enjoy this book, and I think it's a good one to read. It's an interesting thriller, but just a bit of a letdown. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this book review, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!